Let's get right into it. We're here to dismantle a core misunderstanding that plagues most marketing teams. It's this idea that positioning is some kind of creative exercise. What's not? It's a constraint system.
You know, the common belief, the one that leads to all those endless brainstorming sessions, is that positioning is about inventing something. It's about finding that one perfect, clever phrase that's going to unlock the entire market.
That idea is just fundamentally wrong. See, the real work of positioning isn't about addition, it's about subtraction. It's a disciplined, really strategic act of defining boundaries. You're not opening up a field, you're building a fence.
And this is actually the first signal that you're on the right track. If your positioning process feels liberating, expansive, you're probably doing it wrong. Real effective positioning feels tight. It feels restrictive, because that's exactly what it is. It's designed to limit your options on purpose.
So this completely reframes the whole thing. It's not a communication tool, it's a system for making decisions. And it has to come before any creative brief or any piece of copy is ever written.
This is so critical. The primary audience for your positioning is internal. Its whole purpose is to create alignment inside the organization so you can finally end all those circular debates. It gives the definitive answer so the team can actually go and execute.
So this is the mental model you need to adopt. Positioning is a decision system. Its job is to systematically eliminate possibilities, to literally close doors on other strategic paths. And what that does is it forces absolute clarity and focus on the one single path you are going to take.
So let's just look at these two worldviews side by side. The common approach, it focuses on what to say, which just expands your creative options. The correct approach, though, focuses on what not to say. It constrains your choices down to a single path. One generates possibilities, the other eliminates them.
So here's a little diagnostic for you. If your positioning statement could be used to justify a bunch of different, even contradictory marketing campaigns or product features, it's not working as a decision system. It's just a collection of words.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. This naturally leads to this common fear that this much constraint is just going to kill creativity. But actually, the exact opposite is true. Constraint is what makes creativity useful.
Without boundaries, you don't get creativity, you just get noise. Random, unfocused, strategically incoherent variation. Think about it like the difference between a laser and a floodlight. A floodlight just illuminates everything kind of weakly. A laser directs all of its energy to one single impactful point.
So the product marketer's job in this process isn't to be creative, it's to be disciplined. Your role is to build the walls of the sandbox so that other teams, sales, product, creative, can play productively inside it. Your job is to remove degrees of freedom, which is what enables real focus.
Okay, so let's make this tangible. What does this system actually constrain? Well, positioning locks 4 specific, non-negotiable commitments into place.
And these are them, the 4 non-negotiables. Number 1, you have to explicitly name who your product is not for. 2, you have to create a clear hierarchy of problems, saying some matter more, and intentionally deprioritizing others. 3, you have to state which trade-offs in product, in service, in price are acceptable for you to win your chosen market. And 4, you must define which conversations are simply out of scope for your brand.
And let me be perfectly clear. If these 4 decisions are not locked down, you don't have positioning. What you have is language drift. And that's when every single team starts to develop its own interpretation of the strategy, which just leads to total systemic incoherence.
This brings us to a really critical diagnostic for the health of your strategy, this habit of constant repositioning. Teams often try to frame frequent repositioning as a strength. They call it market agility or responsiveness, but it is almost always a sign of weakness. It signals strategic incoherence. It's often just compensation for a weak product core. It's a signal that the fundamental truth of your business is still in flux.
And here's the hard reality. You cannot message your way out of a problem that you haven't solved. Positioning isn't a repair tool for a weak strategy. It's a diagnostic tool. A really rigorous positioning process won't fix an unsettled product truth. It will hold it up to the light and expose it for everyone in the company to see.
So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. Is your company's quarterly messaging refresh a real sign of strategic agility, or is it a symptom of an unsettled truth about what your product actually is and who it's really for?
So let's end right where we started. The goal is not to open possibilities, it is to shut them down. Good positioning strategically eliminates your choices. It makes fewer things possible. And that is the entire point. So now that we have this foundation of constraint in place, we can finally talk about expression. Next time, we're going to discuss narrative. That's the layer that sits on top of positioning. And we'll explore the critical difference between the parts that absolutely must stay fixed and the parts that are allowed to flex.